the greatest thing about her is that you just type in her name and there's so many videos, whether it's wrestling or her. You just type in her name and there's so many videos.
Hello and welcome to OSW Review, the old school wrestling video podcast. This is not that for sure, but what it is an exclusive Nogger U film review. This is your host, your boy Jay Hunter, joined not once again, but surprisingly so. This is a terrible intro from my good buddy V1, sir.
What is the crack?
How are you, sir?
I'm fucking great. Looking forward to talking about this movie.
Yes, we are going to do a review of Paige Fighting with My Family, and it's coming up right now. How did this come about, you might ask? I got tickets to go to the premiere in the Dublin International Film Festival in the Lighthouse Cinema. I got to see a nice red carpet. It was about 4 meters long.
And 0 actual actors on it.
There were people around. Oh, Stephen Merchant, I believe. You know, he cleaned his shoes on it. No Dwayne, sadly.
No.
I was like, is this a shorter red carpet than for Southland Tales?
Oh, fucking better be.
So before we get the film underway, let's do a quickie Paige retrospective. Some of that. Paige, born into a wrestling family, her parents Ricky and Saraya Knight, running the promotion WAW, World Association of Wrestling, out of Norwich, England. It's like the second biggest thing to come out of Norwich.
Yeah.
300k and we take it to Sky.
Saraya here, she wrestled as Brittany Knight, debuting at age 13. She tagged with her mom as the Norfolk Dolls, pulling a Vern Gagne and booking themselves the belts.
It's great, isn't it? I love, wrestling is a carny business at its best. And these are carnies if I've ever seen it. These are knackers, basically. This is a knacker wrestling promotion.
She worked the European Indies until 2011 when she signed with American women's promotion Shimmer. With her mom as the Knight Dynasty, managed by Becky Lynch. Rebecca Knox at the time. Splicey footage of her in Shimmer. It's like, you divvy knacker.
Alice in Danger, you divvy knacker.
Paige actually had 2 tryouts with WWE. She was unsuccessful in her first one, November 2010.
Wow.
But successful in April 2011. She signed a contract 5 months later and was whisked off to FCW.
From North England, Paige!
Very talented, these 2 anti-divas are, Paige and Sophia Cortez.
She made her NXT debut in May 2012, wrestling Ivelisse Sophia Cortez. In the film, it's quite a negative reaction, but actually the crowd reaction was both polite but no idea who you were.
Yeah.
It was also a 2.5-minute match, so.
Yeah.
That said, her run in NXT, Paige's most notable feud, probably feuding with Emma in June 2013. Splice picture of Emma dancing and stealing things off the top of supermarket shelves.
She's from Norwich, England.
Paige made her Raw debut the night after WrestleMania 30 back in 2014. Wow, beating AJ Lee for the Divas Championship. And that led to her SummerSlam match later that year. She also joined Total Divas E! TV show in October. So this is a whirlwind year she's having. In 2015, Charlotte and Becky were brought up to Raw and formed a trio with Paige called
PCB. Oh, no, that was right. The something sorority, wasn't
the
it?
Submission Sorority.
It is time to introduce to the Divas division the Submission Sorority.
I can't believe in a mainly male-dominated business and company that not one person went,
Well, maybe they don't admit that they know. But yeah, it's also a name of a Triple X series. So they were renamed Team PCB, Paige, Charlotte, and Becky. That was the start of the women's revolution, so Paige is credited for that. While it was still in the gratingly awful kind of do the right thing for the wrong reasons, pushing women's movement.
Please welcome the youngest Divas champion in the history of WWE, Paige.
Then Paige was one of the judges on Tough Enough. 6! Along with Daniel Bryan and Hulk Hogan.
Oh my God, what a fucking mix.
For half of the season, midway through the season, it was found out he was, the racial slurs video came out, and so he was replaced by The Miz.
Ah,
Who
okay.
did a whopper job. And that was the one hosted by Chris Jericho as well.
Yes. Jericho was a good bloody host.
Yes, he is. Paige, she turned heel on the 21st September Raw and then was injured. She returned January 2016, worked the pre-show 10 Divas tag match, spent most of the year feuding with Charlotte. And then Paige just stops being used and she says, I'm out with an injury. And this went on for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then WWE throw her under the bus saying, drugs,
Looking for more drugs.
She said, you tested positive for an illegal substance, not a prescription drug, mate. Jesus. And at this point, it kind of, the wheels fall off here. Poor old Paige. She shacked up with married man, Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah.
And they're routinely on Instagram posting videos of them smacked out of their bin.
TMZ. There's videos of Del Rio calling out Triple H, calling out Vince McMahon. And in all of these videos, even though Paige is pretty much off her tits, she still has enough sense to try and calm him down because she doesn't want to burn her fucking bridge, even though he clearly doesn't give a fuck about burning both of their bridges. Holy shit, that year or so really took its toll on that girl.
You work for that company that is PG. I don't work for that fucking company anymore. Thank God. So I'm not PG. And, changing the subject. I know it was you, motherfucker.
March 2017, one of her sex tapes leaks.
Yeah.
And it's like, I said one of her sex tapes because it wasn't the last time. Oh my God, poor woman. Actually, I can't say poor woman. I clicked on them, I watched them, and then I found out, wow, this stuff you really shouldn't be watching.
I watched it. Look.
Listen, you can't give out about sex tapes, have a moral compass about it if you watch them.
No, of course not. Look, I'm a bloke. She's a very, very hot lady. I clicked on them pretty quickly, but she did nothing wrong. She is entitled to sleep with whoever she wants. Maybe it shouldn't be married people, but I think the onus is on the person who took the oath to not fuck about. But yeah, she was hacked and she was a victim.
Yep.
And it's very sad because I've no doubt that fucked her up.
Yeah, mental. I'm sure she took it very badly.
You can't cut that.
Paige has had neck and back issues. She has scoliosis, and she only found that out when she actually signed with WWE, and returned to Raw November 2017 with the new entourage of Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville called
Absolution.
Very good. First match back was December 4th. She only found out about this reading social media, that her first match was with Sasha.
Oh my God.
But December 27th house show, so less than a month later, Sasha clumsily boots her in the back and re-injures her neck.
Yeah.
And she fucking finished. Did she finish the match?
No.
Good.
She tried to get up and she just didn't have any power in her legs and she tripped a couple of times and referee runs in, he gives the X, the match is called off, and that was the end.
Yeah. And she thought, oh, okay, it's a stinger. Everyone, including herself, expected her to be back. And she's like, oh, okay, I can't do the Rumble. Okay, I'll do something for Mania. And then she gets the bomb from the doctor. It's like, you were lucky you are not paralyzed right now.
Yeah.
And even if I do the surgery, your career is over.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Oh, it's devastating.
Because she was 25?
Yeah. And we'll just finish this. WrestleMania, she does come back to do the Women's Battle Royal commentary, WrestleMania 34, and officially retired the next night on Raw, 9th of April. So her entire run from debuting on Raw to retiring is 4 years.
Yeah.
Holy shit. This woman has seen like a couple of lifetimes worth of drama.
Yeah.
And she's not 30.
It's crazy, isn't it? She's been through the fucking mill. And in all fairness, she's done more in her 4 years than lots of wrestlers, both male and female, have done in decades. So, I'll give her that much.
More bad news for her. In May 2018, new sex tape/photos leak with Brad Maddox and Xavier Woods.
So is there something you want to tell us about? WrestleMania!
And at WrestleMania 34, the first trailer is released for Fighting With My Family. Paige hair. Oh, fucking hell. Looking rough, instantly becoming a meme.
Yeah, completely. Golden Nogger winning rough.
Shit!
Paige here.
The day after announcing her retirement, she became SmackDown general manager, but that was cut before the end of the year 2018. Vince barking, shit ratings, shake it up. You know?
I know what'll fix it. Me.
So at the time the film's released, at the end of February 2019, she doesn't have an on-screen role.
Very strange.
Just promoting the movie.
And she was good in her role.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's very strange. But there you go. That is a quick retrospective of Paige.
My name is Saraya Jade Pro Beavers, and my wrestling name is Brittany Knight, and I'm a professional wrestler.
Fighting With My Family. Let's have a quick hoopla about how that came about.
Hey-o.
I first got to mention that Fighting With My Family is not the first Paige documentary. It's not even the second. This is actually the third Paige documentary.
You serious?
Yeah. The first one was called Britain's Worst Nightmare in 2007. It's hilarious because it's obviously a family friend made it because Metallica's Sad But True is in it. It's like you nice and sad as shit, mate. You can tell the production jumps with each successive documentary. Like this initial one is in full screen. The original Channel 4 documentary, The Wrestlers Fighting With My Family in 2012 when she just signs with WWE, that's in widescreen. And now The Rock's movie, the full Hollywood blown movie, ultra widescreen, you know. And so we watched the Channel 4 documentary in WWE Chronicle. So when appropriate, we'll actually kind of slip in bits of information.
Slide it in.
Next scene. Fighting With My Family, written and directed by Steve Merchant of The Office fame and his stand-up
Tooth Fairy.
Hey, you stay here, okay? You have to learn from the best.
And Wheatley in Portal 2, of course.
Yeah,
he's incredible there.
Oh my God, yeah.
Most test subjects do experience some cognitive deterioration after a few months in suspension. Now, you've been under for quite a lot longer, and it's not out of the question that you might have a very minor case of serious brain damage.
Wonderfully British and kind of humble and
charming, likeable, funny. I could have listened to him speak all fucking night. He was fantastic.
Oh, he did introduce the movie and came on afterwards for a bit of a Q&A, and like his information that he had, I'll kind of sprinkle that throughout the review as well. So, Fighting With My Family, produced by The Rock's film company, $7 Productions, because that's how much he had at one point in his pocket. Along with Film 4, The Ink Factory, Misher Films, and WWE Studios. The Rock watched the documentary of the same name in his hotel room while in the UK filming Fast and Furious 6, watching Channel 4 because he never misses an episode of Hollyoaks. He loved it, loved the family, related it to his own, this is the original 2012 documentary, and gave Paige a shout on the phone right before WrestleMania 30 to actually tell her, how would you like a film made about your life? And, hey, you're being called up to Raw tomorrow, and you're winning the women's belt.
Holy shit. What a moment in one's life.
Holy shit.
I can't believe that in the real world, Rock actually told her all of this, and this wasn't just a complete made-up segment for a movie made by The Rock.
Just
to get himself over.
Yeah.
I can't believe it happened.
So before she debuted, she was already a star.
Yeah.
The wheels are already in motion, and you haven't even debuted. Incredible. Who else has ever gotten that?
Andy Levine.
Didn't he sell a stunner and it's like, oh, you didn't sell it hard enough, or you sold it too hard? It's like, whatever it is, it was the wrong
It was the wrong one.
Fucking hell.
Big Andy from South Florida.
Oh, hell no! Oh my God, stunner!
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
kick off Act 1. Absolutely surreal moment as we hear The Rock's 2012 theme song in a movie theatre, followed by Splicey Splicey of Attitude Era Rock giving Triple H the beatdown.
Yeah.
So you can see it follows the same basic structure of the Channel 4 documentary, but they've tweaked bits in there. Like in the Channel 4 documentary, she's watching Cena and Shawn, their Iron Man match on Raw in 2009. And in here, because it's The Rock's film, it's Rock Triple H.
Yeah. I will have you know, Jay, that the Channel 4 documentary actually opens up with footage of giant haystacks ordering his chipper. It's amazing.
It's Paige, Saraya Knight. We'll just call her Paige, it's easier, because her mom is Sweet Saraya as well. Her mom's real name is Julie, but she named her kid after her wrestling name.
Oh, fucking Carney. Oh my God.
Her mom, wonderfully played by Lena Headey.
Yeah, Cersei.
Yes, and Sarah Connor.
Yes, nice job.
And Ma from Judge Dredd.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a great fucking movie.
Nick Frost plays the dad, Ricky. So you probably know him from Shaun of the Dead, the Cornetto trilogy.
Just be nice if we could. Fuck. Spend a bit more time together.
Bollocks. Oh, he's amazing. He's wonderfully gruff and sarcastic. All of his jokes land as well.
Well, can he put a shirt on?
Sure, how bloody posh are they?
That's another thing. Courtney's dad, you don't swear, apparently, so let's just keep the effing and jeffing down to a minimum, please.
Unbelievable. Who is her dad? The Archbishop of Shitting... Kent?
He nails it in this movie. He's fantastic.
The real Ricky wanted Ray Winston to play him. And I was like, the Ghostbusters? Well, two of them.
Which, by the way, is pretty good casting. Like, he looks and sounds very like Paige's actual dad. But, you know...
A lot less rough. Like Paige's actual dad, he looks like he'll glass you.
Yeah.
You know, far more carny.
I'm sure he has glassed many people, considering he went to prison for mostly violence.
Mostly violence.
Mostly.
Mainly violence.
Mainly violence, yeah.
Paige is cajoled into her first match at age 13 as a wrestler is unavailable for her family's wrestling show this Saturday. She wrestles her slightly older brother Zach, whose getup is a pink Power Ranger to kayfabe it that he's also a girl.
He looks great. He looks like Hit Girl.
Yes!
Yeah.
Very good. His first move is to do a lock-up and then flump his hands down so she bumps on the floor and he starts hot dogging.
Yeah!
I was like, he gets it. He gets wrestling. Sign him. Since it's a movie, they need to get Paige's mannerisms over. So even at 13, she does her big theatrical scream. You're like, ah!
Yeah,
you know?
it's a bit much.
It's very wrestling. It's like, holy shit, whenever you have your first match, make sure to do things that you'd be happy doing for the next 30 years. I was just thinking like her, because the start of her song for WWE is the kind of, the scream. You know?
Yeah, it's like a raven cry.
Yeah. If she was a bloke, like if Zach Bevis joined, it would have be the men's version of that, which would be...
Which I believe is just the sound of her father breathing out.
There's a wonderful cut to her bumping at an older age, having warmed and committed to her family's wrestling company.
That's a very J-esque cut.
Yeah, I loved it.
You would do that.
Yeah. I was really impressed with the editing and wrestling that they show. This is like the best shot wrestling match I've seen in film, because usually it's horrendous if you have actors, but it's like The Rock produced this. Thumbs up. Really impressed. Backstage at WAW, that's the dad's company. Actually, her mom has their women's wrestling company called the Bellatrix. Oh, there are two other words. You know? We're in Norwich. Oh man, I popped seeing the Norwich markets with the colourful striped tent roofs because it was in Alan Partridge's These Are the Places of My Life. Flying AIDS.
Flying AIDS.
There's one shot that shows like a warm bustle of people, and there's another one that they just show the top of the roof, so it feels a lot colder, and that represents the mood. I thought it was a lovely touch. Paige's dad, Rick, is on the phone, and he's brokering a match with another wrestler over the phone, and Union Jack.
Yeah.
The big fat black lad beside him. Steve, I was like, he wants to know if you'll take this trash can lid to the face.
What does that feel like?
Clang. It's like,
yeah. Okay, I'll take
brilliant.
it.
Yeah? Glenn, yeah, let's have a bowling ball in the bollocks.
What Steve Merchant wants to do is kind of lure you in with the jokes, but you'll care about them by the end.
Yeah.
Which I think is very successful. Like.
Which is absolutely right, because this family are carnies and they're characters and they're funny.
Yeah. The underlying threat to Ricky is that there's always money troubles, and hopes that Zack and Saraya getting signed by the WWE will solve this. So hound WWE trainer Hutch Morgan, this is an original character, played by Vince Vaughn. Now, of course, in WWE, you'd have multiple trainers and officials and that, but they kind of conflate them together into one character for simplicity's
Everything
sake.
is one: agent, manager, trainer, owner of the gym. yeah, he is everything.
Absolutely the right call as well. Like,
Sure,
you know, wrestling fans would pop if Finlay and Regal and Jamie Noble and Billy Kidman were there, but like everyone would go, who are all these people?
And they would make the movie worse because they're not actors.
Yeah.
Although Finlay.
Oh.
Finlay's great.
Only if Regal joins too.
We were very impressed by your tape. In April, we're bringing SmackDown to the O2 in London, and we'd like both of you to come down and try out for us.
Zack and Saraya are called up to audition before SmackDown. Skulking around backstage, they bump into The Rock.
Oh! Sorry about that.
Dick me dead, bury me pregnant.
Paige, played by Florence Pugh here, she gives us the line of the movie: "Dick me dead and bury me pregnant." And this is the bit that's used in the trailer for the movie, where they bug him for advice, calling him back a few times.
This bit's awesome. Rock plays it brilliantly.
Each successive time he gets more pissed off, but comes back smiling and asking, giving them lots of time.
Banging the wall and yes, what do you want this time?
Thanks, mate. Rock.
What are your names again?
My name.
It doesn't matter what your names are. You walk around here interrupting The Rock, you like you haven't seen the sun in 20 years, you like you just stepped out of Oliver Twist. Please, sir, may I have some more advice, sir? You want some advice? Here's The Rock's advice. Shut your mouth.
A few things. Like, first of all, Rock, he's so fucking huge as a human. Because
he's a monster of a man.
Paige is really tiny, and especially compared to The Rock, he's one of the biggest wrestlers you'll ever meet, you know?
And he's bigger now than he ever was while he was fucking wrestling. So the difference is massive as well.
I'm passionate, I'm determined, and I'm the toughest bastard in any room, including this one. Oh, probably shouldn't swear, not when there's ladies present. Sorry, miss. Sorry about that.
So the brother and sister try out. They're in the ring along with other perspectives. Saraya can't be her current ring name, Brittany. WWE just want to copyright a name, so she chooses Paige. They never explain it in this documentary or the last one, but it's incredibly clever because she's from the Knight family. So she's a Paige. And I was like, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, great book in there.
Is it true, though, that a Page is only a boy?
What a boy. But in the film, it's because her favourite character is from Charmed, Paige Matthews, played by Rose McGowan.
Rose McGowan, yeah.
Star of Ready to Rumble.
Fuck off.
So they all try out, and Vince Vaughn does the Blackadder gag of saying he'll call out all of the names of everyone successful, and he's like unfurling a scroll, Paige, and then scrolls it again. So she's very happy, but her brother is distraught, and she actually follows him out to the car park and threatens to leave and not go if her brother can't get signed either. But eventually relents and says she'll go, and fucking this is where their futures diverge.
2.
Yeah, okay, I want this.
See you in Florida.
The brother, it's devastating for him. Like, he starts dissociating, like, as coming so close to his dream and being denied, it kind of kills the light inside of him.
Yeah. He gives up on his sister. He gives up on his family. He gives up on his wrestling. He gives up on all of the young kids that he's helping to train. Yeah, I thought that this movie got his point of view over brilliantly. I felt terrible for him.
Yeah. So he doesn't go to the airport to see her off, which is actually true. He actually stayed in bed and said her goodbyes the last night.
That's really sad.
Yeah. He stops teaching wrestling and becomes a bit negligent with his child, like leaving it to cry. I actually adored his storyline and was more interested in seeing him than with Paige.
Yeah,
because you
totally.
know how Paige's story finishes. but you don't know. Well, obviously, you know, Zach doesn't get signed, you know.
Yeah.
But I want to see about him because you never see documentaries about failures, you know.
Yeah, it's true, actually.
Making peace with yourself or finding the positivity in it or
Yeah.
finding another road. Like WWE actually did a special on Nigel McGuinness. He never got signed as a wrestler with WWE, but he was able to find solace and positivity being a commentator on NXT, and a lot of the wrestlers coming up are using his moves and learning from him.
Yeah.
And so that's where his kind of legacy ends, you know?
Yeah, you know.
Which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely, because in his own head, Nigel didn't make it, but then at the end of the day, he did make it. He just made it for a different reason.
Yeah, and that's his whole arc here. So we'll revisit him later in the movie.
Let it go.
I can't let it go because this is all I can do, right?
And you'll have to find something else. Goodbye.
Paige arrives in Florida for NXT, has trouble fitting in with other Barbie dolls, skinny blonde fitness models, dancers, people with zero wrestling experience. One of those blonde Barbie dolls, her name is Jerry Lynn. I popped every time it came up.
Literally
Hilarious.
every time.
I'm Kirsten. Hi, I'm Jerry Lynn.
Jerry Lynn. I was like, when you said it, I popped and is it no one? Oh, no. I thought every wrestling fan in attendance would have
same
laughed
here.
for that.
Maybe they're only like current WWE fans. Who's that one? Jerry Lynn?
Have the spark.
My name is Jerry Lynn, and I am going to blow you
Excuse me?
out of the water.
Let's put it together. Let's keep it one.
Of course.
Paige is shown failing in class, her promo skills being outdated, the size of the fight in the dog, not the dog in the fight, and being frustrated at these novice wrestlers, and she's used to wrestling men, and is chastised for issuing a receipt, slapping Jerry Lynn for accidentally hitting her 3 times.
When I was earning, I got loads of receipts from my brother.
This isn't some inbred backyard wrestling unit. This is the NXT. We don't do the receipt stuff around here.
Paige has her first match in NXT, and the crowd love the warm and sunny fitness model, Jerry Lynn, and go silent for Paige. The fans heckle her for her looks, and she freezes on the mic. I get that the storyline needed to show Paige failing and on the brink of quitting for dramatic effect, but like, in reality, the NXT crowd are the warmest, most supportive, vocal, positive, hardcore marks on the planet.
Absolutely. Emma got over.
There are some weird anachronisms / melding of wrestling eras, like youngster Paige holds up the butterfly belt. When she grew up, it would have been the Easter egg women's belt. Just FYI, butterfly belt, introduced Night of Champions 2010, dropped in 2016 for Mania 32 with the new women's championship. But they needed to do that so you'd know it's the same title she's fighting to win. Her dream is to be WWE women's champion, regardless of belt design.
Yeah.
Another thing that's a jarring anachronism is that they film at the WWE Performance Center, which makes sense. They have access to it by WWE, and this is where wrestlers train. But that opened in 2013, whilst Paige signed with WWE 2 years earlier, when it was still FCW.
Yeah.
Paige decides she wants to fit in, so dresses like the Barbie girls and dyes her hair blonde. Doesn't work. She lashes out at the girls, but turns out she's the bully. They were chatting about Jerry Lynn's daughter, who she hasn't seen in weeks, chastising Paige for judging them without knowing them or even asking, which is an actual thing Merchant was told about when he visited the Performance Center. Paige banged on about being isolated and bullied, but she was sometimes the bully because of the chip on her shoulder about having grown up in a wrestling family and almost condescending towards noobs.
Well, you never told me. You never asked.
Why would you? We're just tits and ass, right?
In the film, WWE is showcased as a magical wonderland, a version of Hollywood promising fame and untold riches, the mecca of every wrestling fan's dream. Despite Paige constantly badgering Vince Vaughn about her brother, seen here at the rest stop break, he just lays it out. Some people are stars, some are journeymen, and WWE don't want Zack because he's a journeyman, enhancement talent that makes stars look good. How it ends for him is sacrificing his family and his body to try and make it. They don't, and be left with nothing, your child not taking your calls.
Yeah. Whoa. That's real. That is the nasty side of the wrestling business that you never hear in this perfect, magical WWE land. And this movie laid it out in black and white for you. Kudos.
And of course, we find out that Vince Vaughn, his character, was talking about himself, and he
took a bump off a 30-foot cage for The Rock.
Bloody hell, look at that tan. Willy Wonka called, needs you back at the factory.
NXT Boot Camp breaks for Christmas, and Paige returns home and wrestles her aloof brother.
So he went off script and hit her with a pile driver.
A tombstone, yeah.
But it was a kayfabe one.
Yeah.
You're sending very, very mixed messages here. It's like, I'm going to shoot on you with these kayfabe moves.
With these work spots.
It's very weird.
For dramatic purposes, obviously. But generally, when you perform, you'd leave your emotional baggage. Like, you go on autopilot and you go into work mode.
Yeah.
Not kind of heightened emotions that consume you. So it's a bit weird. Paige's brother Zach storms off, revealing to her parents Paige's plan to quit NXT. Zach goes missing and the family find him in a bar, intentionally starting a fight so he can batter some patrons. He confesses his anger about Paige taking his dream from him, and she doesn't even want it.
I didn't take your dream, Zach. It was my dream too.
Then why are you throwing it away?
He asks if it's her dream, then why is she quitting? And she lets that stew in her noodle. So Paige returns after the break with her old clothes and black hair with a fresh, positive, professional attitude. She finds strength in numbers, becoming friends and encouraging the others not to quit. So very much a live together, die alone, Lost season 1 to 6 moral of the story. And with that, herself and the girls find themselves backstage at WrestleMania 30, where she steals some hot dogs at catering.
If she can eat it, you don't eat a hot dog. Here. No, I don't. Do you know what's in a hot dog?
Merchant, he keep kind of saying the WWE portions, the bits shot under WWE ground, they were kind of flying by the seat of their pants. Like he was literally backstage and asked if anyone was available to do a bit in the movie. Shamo knew Steve Merchant from his previous work in The Office, so he was game, and he talked Big Show into doing the scene.
Nice.
Actually, just as a tie-in, when Zach had a second tryout with WWE, he actually got a match on SmackDown, a kind of 3 British jobbers against the Big Show.
Yeah.
So he got to be on TV.
Yeah, which is fucking awesome. And by the way, Zach looked fairly decent. Like, he's a big fucking
6'4",
lad.
yeah.
He's a decent worker. He sold really well, but just by watching it, you know straight away why this guy wasn't signed. It's because his body is very average.
Like kind of British rips. Well, actually, that's not true. Thinking about Pac. No,
shredded.
Yeah. But like he's kind of burly.
Because I didn't have abs and because my shoulders weren't touching my ears. Unfortunately, they said no for this time.
Paige is ushered into a skybox suite, still with her hot dogs in her hand, and she's like, I thought the hot dogs were free. And a caring Rock rings her family to tell them that she's debuting tomorrow night on Raw.
Which prick is calling me during WrestleMania?
It's Dwayne Johnson. How are you?
Prove it.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Dad, it's actually him.
You what?
Roy, in this movie, he is a kind of cautionary tale that just comes in as a plot piece for Zach.
Yeah.
But in the original documentary, he's actually around as well.
Roy knows better than anyone what it's like to nearly make the big time.
I went for trials a year and a half ago, and out of 14 wrestlers, they picked me out and said they really want me to go, but then they found out I had a criminal record.
Meanwhile, life goes on back in Norwich. Paige's older brother Roy is released from prison and goes jogging with Zach, telling him Paige is a success because she had Zach, and like he didn't turn out well because he didn't have Zach, you know.
Yeah.
But Paige did. And that sits in Zach's noodle, and he's actually, he face turns again, and he's kind of happy with his lot in life and doing good in the community, and it's a wonderful redemption story arc.
Guys, please don't tell me you're deaf as well now.
Teaching a blind kid how to wrestle.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful.
Which he actually did. Where using kind of a system of kind of stomps and sounds and so on.
Stomps and claps.
Yeah,
Stomps, claps. He's at peace. He's a good guy. He can keep on doing what he loves. It's just he didn't get to live out his dream. And that must be heartbreaking when you see your sister get to live out your dream.
The Channel 4 documentary, they kind of paint it as, like he was just saying, Paige doesn't really care about wrestling. She's naturally good looking. She's naturally charismatic. She's naturally good in the ring. And she is where I want to be. And it's like, sometimes I wish I was Paige and had it kind of this easy.
Yeah.
And Ricky's dad would just say, oh, he's a bit lazy, isn't he?
I also do believe that he's underselling what Paige did to get signed, because no girl naturally looks like that. She's in phenomenal shape and she worked fucking hard for it.
I wish I was rare sometimes.
And with that, it's time for your main event.
Paige. She's from Norwich, England.
Norwich. Champion, AJ Lee.
Well, guys, today marks day number 295 in the historic Divas Championship reign of AJ.
It's your main event. Paige debuting on Raw. So all of the characters in the film, as you can see, are played by actors, and so is AJ Lee. It's like she's very available, but this is very much a WWE influence here. We're not getting
oh
CM
my
Punk's
god,
wife, like.
They are not going to pick up the phone and call Punk's wife. Holy shit, who they sacked on their wedding day.
I thought she did a fantastic impression of AJ.
Really good.
There's a bit where you could only hear her voice but not see Zelina Vega, and I thought that was AJ.
It sounded exactly like her, yeah.
She has the cadence and accent down pat.
For 295 days, I have been your Divas champion.
For 295 days, I have been your Divas champion.
A couple of other kind of edits for brevity or to keep the story straight. Like AJ Lee, Tamina was a bodyguard at the time, so she would have been in the ring, you know? It's also jarring that they filmed this in February 24th, 2017, so they have the new Raw set, and obviously she would have debuted in the old Raw set. They actually asked the fans to stay for an hour after Raw. Then they got WWE's camera to record footage along with their own film crew. They literally had an hour to film the fucking climax of the movie.
That's mental. Because, Jay, we were on the set of Marine 6.
It's true.
And it took them hours to film a stuntman jumping. It was an entire day to get that couple of seconds clip. They had an hour to film the climax of their movie.
Fucking 10 minutes of the movie.
The entire thing that they've been building up to for your previous 90 minutes, you have 1 hour to get it and get it done right with a tired crowd.
I'm hoping this is just Merchant kind of playing it up as a story to tell. And
he's like, wrestling fighting?
Yeah. Maybe he's truly a wrestler.
Oh, he's working us.
So they had an hour to shoot the climax of the film, and 20 minutes of that, The Rock came out and started hot dogging. Merchant explains how the crowd were quite confused as there's AJ Lee, who's not AJ. Here's Paige, who's not played by Paige. And they'd stop and get an actual wrestler in during Paige's match for certain spots. So Florence Pugh would only do some bits, and then the real stuff was performed by Tessa Blanchard.
Okay.
He was saying, I knew wrestling was fake, but not this fake. Florence actually only had 2 weeks of wrestling training, did what she could, but wasn't great. She recalled when she was selling on the ground, some 8-year-old in the crowd shouted, "You suck!"
Love wrestling fans.
And that seemed to stick with her. They also portray this match as real rather than predetermined.
Very strange, yeah.
And through tenacity and her brother's finisher, the Zack Attack, I wouldn't sign you straight off the bat with
isn't that the name of Zach Morris's band?
It is!
Friends forever!
And Paige wins her WWE Divas Championship on her first night on the job, finally confident enough to belt out her catchphrase, "This is my house." This is my house. No, I just said it the same way twice. And that's where the film ends.
My name is Paige, and this is my house now!
Of course, Paige has since retired due to a neck injury. Merchant opted not to mention her retirement because the film was already shot when it happened, February 2017, so she wouldn't have wrestled since June the prior year due to her injury, and it shacked up with Del Rio at the time. So I think it was a bit of, this movie's happening, so we can't fire her by WWE. The situation couldn't really be properly explained in a few lines of text, so just fuck it. Let's just not.
I think he made the absolute right choice.
Yes, yeah.
Like, having this movie, which for large parts of it, this is not a happy movie. Zach's arc is mostly miserable. Paige's middle portion of the arc is mostly miserable. So to end it on such a high note is great.
Yeah. And who knows if she'll be fine enough to wrestle in a couple of years down the line. Well, probably not, actually. So they left it at the natural high point of success. Like Brock's book ends with him being UFC champion.
Yeah. And not over him smashing him. And Kane smashing him.
So let's take it to the aftermath. So the film, Fighting with My Family, starring, obviously, if you actually look it up on IMDb, first cast, Dwayne Johnson. Okay, so he's in a cameo and he also produced it. Stephen Merchant, he plays Hugh, the dad of the girlfriend of Zach.
Yeah, if it was fate, would I have broken half the bones in my body, Death?
His left leg bends both ways.
Well, that's nothing. You should see his cock.
Florence Pugh as Paige. Zelina Vega as AJ Lee, Nick Frost as Rowdy Ricky Knight, Lena Headley as Julia, Sweet Saraya, Jack Loudon as Zach Zodiac.
Zach Zodiac. Yes.
No. Kim Matula as Jerry Lynn, and Vince Vaughn as Hutch Morgan. See, what did you think of The Rock's adaptation of Fighting with My Family?
I loved it. I can't believe I'm saying this, Jay, because this movie has been a joke since Paige here.
Paige, yeah.
It has been the butt of jokes. It has been slanged. We've been talking about like, oh, Razzies, and it's going to be cringy. And then it comes out and it's like, couldn't be more wrong. And I'm so happy to have been absolutely wrong. I loved pretty much all of it. It's actually funny. As a wrestling fan, my least favorite parts of the movie were wrestling bits. And I adored everything that was Paige and her family. The real kind of heartbeat of it wasn't Paige's arc, but it was Zach's. I thought it was brilliant. I absolutely got the feels when Paige was signed and Zach wasn't. The actor sold that perfectly. So yeah, I enjoyed all of this movie. I would absolutely recommend it for both wrestling fans and non-wrestling fans. Give them your money, go and see this movie, and you will be happy.
Yeah, I agree with you. Fantastic film. I couldn't believe how well it all came together, especially as it sounded like a bit of a ragtag production with limited rehearsal time and shooting time. Like Florence only physically met Paige during promotion of the film and watching it with her, although they'd be in contact on the phone during production. Florence was emotional and funny, believable in the role, only negative that she was physically a lot smaller than Paige.
She's tiny.
And as you said, the wrestling portions aren't as engaging as the kind of human drama, but I thought the wrestling portions were shot extremely well. It's like the best I've seen on film. It straddles the line being kind of darkly dramatic and also comedic at the same point, which is so difficult to do.
The opening half an hour of this movie is hilarious. Like, there were people laughing out loud. We were laughing out loud.
Hey, have you got a stiffy?
Oh, it's not my fault. It does what it wants.
Yeah, well, tell it not to.
Just pretend it's not there.
No.
Oh, hey, it's 50 press-ups now, mate. What? For having a stiffy? No, for getting turned on by my sister. How desperate are you, mate? Come on.
Paige's story is fascinating in general and is well showcased here. Anything bad are just smarky nitpicks. Like, she was marketed as the confident anti-diva. She wasn't a freezing mess. But, like, it's all done for film coherency and keeping the story moving, not getting bogged down. So it's the right call. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm not a big Paige fan. So go watch it. Steve Merchant, fucking whopper job, mate.
Knocked it out of the park, buddy.
Dick me dead, bury me pregnant.
There it is again.
I've always been this way. I'm fly before I change. Tear the stars out from the sky.
Just on a high note, the life after wrestling for Paige. Outside wrestling, she started a coffee company called the Dark Gypsy and then got into the clothing business. Has her own store called the Saraya store and makeup called Saraya Jade Cosmetics and partnered with Hot Topic. No way!
Delighted for her.
So even if her in-ring career is over, her incredible characterization as kind of hot goth, gorgeous anti-diva brand means she'll always be set. You know, she can always make money. Hopefully she can settle down to a relatively normal life and remain happy and healthy.
I did read, I don't know if it's real or not, but I did hear that Sasha Grey went for the part of Paige. And was turned down because like she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she does legit movies as well. So
does she?
Yeah, she does. She's a regular actress as well.
No way!
No way!
No way! No way!
Saraya Jade Knight. Brittany. She's the princess.
If you want to watch the UK 2012 original Channel 4 documentary by Max Fisher, it's free on Vimeo. You can watch it now. It's hilarious because it's very similar to this movie, but The Rock's film is better in every way.
Absolutely.
Like, between production values and, like, even the songs, like his, you know, Max Fisher uses these cheap songs and the Hollywood hand has lovely, actually orchestrated stuff. And it's shot much nicer and much more beautiful people in it, you know, that kind of thing, as opposed to the real people. Apart from Paige, who's gorgeous.
Yeah. And the actress who played her is cute as well.
So Paige, the first English woman to be signed at 18 to a WWE contract. Still that today. And if you want, there are still shares available in WAW's promotion. In the original documentary, instead of Union Jack, the big fat lad, it was Carl the Barbarian.
Nice.
They didn't mention in this film, but Zach actually popped his knee wrestling before his second tryout. And it was like, holy shit, I'm going to have to get fucking specialized surgery for it.
Zach had told his dad that his knee was giving him guff. And he asked him, could he take some time off from wrestling because he wanted to heal up and he wanted to go out to WWE, try out and hopefully get signed. And his dad talked him into working. And that night he tore his knee. And his dream was basically ruined at that point.
You're a promoter. You know different storylines. Just have someone attack him before the start of the match.
Yeah.
And that's it. He's out.
I was furious watching that bit.
And that's in the real documentary. And Rick, he also has the Road Warrior animal haircut.
Yeah.
In the original documentary, they're chatting to sweet Saraya, the mom. And she was like, I love my daughter because she's my daughter, but she's also a great product. She brings in the money. If there's a poster of me with Paige, the poster makes more money.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a bit gross.
Yeah.
But that is the business. You know, they have sold their daughter, you know?
Forget that she's my daughter. She's a product.
They didn't mention it. It's probably pretty cool, but Jake the Snake Roberts used to live with the Knight family for a couple of years.
No.
Yeah.
That should have been a movie.
Yeah. Why wasn't that in?
Throw in DDP and you've got yourself a fucking Oscar.
Documentary Skype versus film's version of Skype. Because on the film Skype, it's pretty much perfect. You're watching a video of, you know, Nick Frost and that.
Yeah.
But in the documentary, it's real Skype, which, you know, in 240p, a buggy freezy mess. Paige says, oh yeah, my character, mysterious dark raven haired, like the girl in the dragon tattoo. I was like, don't see it, but okay. Oh, let's have a quick look at WWE Chronicle about Paige.
She was on drugs and drink, okay, but she came out of it and now she's a better person from it. She got cyberbullied and still managed to fight her way through it.
Just prior to the Royal Rumble 2019, WWE released Chronicle. It's a free YouTube show, half an hour looking at WrestleMania 34 and Paige's retirement. So it starts at November 2017 and ends with her retirement. Holy shit. Because she doesn't know she was going to retire. It's supposed to be a happy, I'm getting ready for Mania.
She's so fucking happy in the first half of this.
Oh my God. WWE are doing a special on her, so all these cameras are in her grill more than usual, so she has to deal with this stuff being told.
You literally get to see the moment her heart breaks in HD and super slow-mo.
Seriously, devastating though. A couple other points to note is that WWE production truck, it monitors what's going on other stations, because they have a shot and you can see they're watching the football as well on another monitor, and it's like, do you change your show based on what's happening in football? Yes. Fucking hell. Like, how do you ever expect to have a coherent show if you're constantly tweaking it, even during the show?
Shut up, that's how.
Fucking hell. Another one is that one day she forgot one of her knee pads. And what she did?
And she had to use a bra
as a knee pad. And no one would be any the wiser.
No one knew. Only like 3 people knew that. That'd be her, Mandy, and Sonia knew.
So embarrassing.
Yeah, it was awesome. You can kind of see that the McMahons, I don't know how much of it is fake and put on for the cameras, but they seem to dote on her.
Yeah.
Like she is one of their daughters kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
Because she goes up to Vince and he's like, oh, hey, how was your match? And he's like, oh, I split my jocks. They all start having a laugh.
Yeah.
And like Stephanie would talk to her like she was a mom.
Yeah.
As well.
That was probably my favourite part of this because, look, Stephanie gets a horrible rap from everybody, wrestling fans, all, like especially us. We give her fucking shit. And you never, ever get to see her in this light. Vince, you get to see in this light the odd time. Hunter, you get to see in this light a lot, but never her. And it was kind of nice to see her, you know, mother henning Paige. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was nice.
You should definitely feel proud.
No, I'm very proud.
Huge part of making this all happen.
Okay out there?
In fact,
I was like, oh, good.
and then hold your applause until...
Man, excellent. Well, I hope you enjoyed our look at Fighting With My Family with a bit of The Wrestlers, Channel 4 special, and WWE Chronicle all spliced in there. Cool, what have you got coming up on Twitch, Stephen?
I am working my way through the Yakuza series. I'm currently on Yakuza 0.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, how's Goro cutting up the dance floor then?
He's awesome. I love him. He's so great. This game, they're so wacky and I absolutely adore them.
Well, the best time to play, catch you on Twitch, is Friday night. Awesome. Well, most nights, actually.
Most nights.
Most weekdays. And if you want to watch more exclusive NuggerU videos, you can at
nuggeru.oswreview.com.
So, it's a bye from V1.
Take a boo.
And myself, Jay Hunter. And remember, Paige hair.